Welcome into Chic and Ball. I'm your host, Els the Truth. Thank you for tuning in and watching. On today's show, we look back at the Seattle Storm season in 2024. Now, I want to start with the team's overall performance, and then we're going to get into head coach Noell Quinn. This team had a pretty good record. They went 25-15, led by head coach Noell Quinn, finished 5th in offense, 4th in defense, made the playoffs, and got swept by the Aces in the first round. Now, Coach Quinn, this being her 11th season with the Seattle Storm, she spent 5 years here as a player, 6 years on the coaching staff, and 4 of those years being the head coach. She was part of the championship team that won in 2018 as a player, and she was the associate head coach on the team that won in 2020. Minus the down year when Breanna Stewart left the team, I think she'd be doing a pretty good job here. Credit to the Storm front office for always putting the talent out there for her, but I think she listens to her stars, she makes sure they get the ball in the spots they like to operate, and she just seemed very laid back and soft-spoken. You rarely see her yelling at players and attacking players, and that's why I thought it was strange. In her trade request, Jewell Loyd did allege harassment and bullying from the coaching staff during practices and games, which was reportedly experienced by other players on the team. Now, the investigation into that matter was all dismissed, and that ultimately led to Jewell Loyd being traded to Vegas. So I don't know, could she be putting on a sweet innocent act for the cameras and then she a dog behind closed doors? If that's the case, ain't nothing wrong with that, but I don't agree with bullying or harassment in any kind of workplace or any place in life at all, so if that happened, we need to dismiss that very quickly. Now, going into 2025, this team is going to have a whole lot of talent, and I don't know if she can survive getting swept another year. But we're going to go into 2025 with some optimism because Sky's still hungry as hell and Nneka is too. Now let's talk about every player that suited up in the Seattle Storm uniform, starting with Dulcy Fankam Mendjiadeu. She only played in 7 games for Seattle, but she went 2 of 3 from the field overall. She got waived after those 7 games and hasn't signed with any team since. Now let's keep it moving and talk about Kiana Williams. She played in 13 games for Seattle. She looked pretty good from 3, going 3 of 9 in those games she appeared. It felt like she pressed a little bit and took some bad shots. She played on 2 7-day contracts and hasn't signed with any team since those contracts expired. Now let's talk about Joyner Holmes. Played in 27 games for Seattle, shot 57% on shots inside the 3-point line. She pretty much only got mop-up duty, averaging about 9 minutes a game, but she's very tough on both ends of the floor, former Texas Longhorn, and she signed a training camp contract with the Dallas Wings for 2025. Now let's talk about Sami Whitcomb. Played in all 40 games for Seattle, shockingly had her worst year shooting the ball, only 29% from 3. That's after shooting a combined 38% over the previous 4 years. Coach Quinn didn't give up on her though. She shot 4 threes a game, no shaking her confidence. And Sami Whitcomb signed with the Phoenix Mercury for 2025. Now let's talk about a Tennessee Lady Volunteer, Mercedes Russell. Played in 37 games for the Seattle Storm, heavy part of the rotation, shot 51% from the field in 16 minutes a game. She's leaving Seattle after 7 years playing there to play in Los Angeles with the Sparks in 2025. Now let's talk about a Mississippi State Bulldog, Victoria Vivians. Played in 35 games for Seattle, didn't have her best season, but I still think she's a really good player. She hasn't really shown much since she tore her ACL back in 2019, but we all know she's a good player despite her numbers and percentages. So she keeps getting opportunities and she signed a training camp contract to stay in Seattle in 2025. Now let's talk about Jordan Horston. Another Tennessee Lady Volunteer, played in 39 games for Seattle, started in 27. The growth this girl has shown from year 1 to year 2, I almost don't even recognize that player from last year. She looked like a completely new player. Percentage went up from 36% as a rookie to 49% in her second year. She sadly tore her ACL, so the chances we see her in 2025 are very slim. Now let's talk about Jewell Loyd. Played and started in 37 games for the Storm, made the All-Star team, averaged about 20 points per game, but she shot a career low 27% from 3 and a career low 36% from the field. I guess the Sky Loyd chemistry didn't work like it did at Notre Dame, but people forget Jewell was only a freshman then and Headband Sky was a senior and on top of the world. Different circumstances with them both being WNBA stars, but word on the street was they just didn't get along. Maybe Jewell felt like, hey, I'm the champion, I've been here this long, and y'all giving all the preferential treatment to Sky. That's just my speculation. Some things we'll never know. Now let's talk about Gabby Williams. Played in 12 games and started in 11 for Seattle. Didn't make her season debut until late August, basically the end of the year. Averaged a career high 10 points, career high 48% from the field, and she signed a contract to stay in Seattle for 2025. Now, she one of the players I'm expecting to have a breakout year next season. No more Jewell Loyd, that means more shots for her and more responsibility. Now let's talk about the UConn Husky, Nika Mühl. Only played in 16 games for Seattle, had some issues with her visa and she wasn't legally able to work in the United States, so she ended up missing a lot of time at the beginning of the year. Once she got all that straightened out, she got on the court, played her butt off, got herself in a rotation. She is a fan favorite, not only in Seattle, but across the world of all WNBA fans. I think next year she'll get more time and become a heavy part of the rotation. Now let's talk about Ezi Magbegor. Played and started in 37 games for Seattle, was second in the WNBA in blocks behind A'ja Wilson, made the all-defensive first team, so I guess you can say she had a pretty good year. Now, to me, she should have played better playing next to Nneka, but we still got next year. Maybe she just need to get a little more comfortable, but she definitely need to start taking more shots. She averaged 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and she's heading into her 5th season with the Seattle Storm. Now let's talk about Queen Nneka Ogwumike. And you know we don't throw that queen title around on all players. Just like there's only one king of basketball and that's King James, I got 2 in the WNBA, Queen Benijah and Queen Nneka. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. But this girl is aging like fine wine, on the court and off the court. After 13 seasons, she's still an all-star, still an all-WNBA and all-defensive player, played and started in 37 games for Seattle, 50% from the field, 40% from 3. She is literally one of the most efficient players in WNBA history and helped Candace Parker win her first ring back in 2016. Now let's talk about the legend from South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Skylar Diggins-Smith. Played and started in all 40 games for the Seattle Storm, averaged a career high 6.4 assists, but a career low 15 points if you take away her rookie year. Didn't make the All-Star team, but she had to watch Jewell go and had to watch Nneka go. That, plus not having a championship, will be some of the motivating factors for Scott next year. As if she wasn't already one of the most self-motivated players in basketball, man or woman. But looking forward to seeing her back next year. She showed her ass in Unrivaled, and I know she's gonna bring that momentum back to the Storm. But there you have it. Another episode of Chic and Ball. If you made it this far in the show, please hit that like button, comment your thoughts, and let's keep pushing the game forward. And I just want to say this before I get out of here. Man, when I started this show, I never thought it would have so much reach. I love all y'all in every city, state, country, because I'm just a regular person that get up, punch a clock every day, and go to work. This was only supposed to be an escape for me, but it ended up becoming something that I truly cherish and look forward to doing every day. I love the game of basketball. I appreciate these women and all you guys for giving me a reason to continue doing it. And that's all I'll say for now. Thank you again for listening and watching. I'm Els for PRNM. Talk to you on the next one.